Remember when Thor, like, got corn stuck up his ass? I'm in it for the story. I've gotten a lot of my friends who I've had a few people who I've talked to who have either gotten into the game recently, because a lot of people knew about it and they didn't really get into it until I want to say around 2017, because I think that's when the remixes, like the HD collection came out.
They became accessible for a lot of people because it was like everything on one console pretty much.
So a bunch of people were able to play instead of having a Game Boy, a PS2, a PSP, a DS, a 3DS. Like so a bunch of younger fans, because like this game series is like 18 years old.
It
makes me feel so old. But most of those people come in and I find that they're in it for the story because they heard it. But I've gotten a lot of people into it lately, a lot of my friends, a lot of my best friends, and like I find, like, for a long time I was really embarrassed about liking Kingdom Hearts, except for the stuff I saw online, because like, it's one of those things when you're a kid, like I didn't really talk about liking anime to begin with. And it's a fucking Disney crossover with anime, and like they talk about hearts and they talk about friendship, and there is very, very questionable dialogue, and we all know it's silly, but I also grew up with it, so like I look at it really fondly. Like there's a lot of times where I sit at night and I'm like, I get warm fuzzies because I think about Kingdom Hearts 2. Like, I think about the feelings I had when I first played it. I think about, like, how do I explain this? Like, I don't think the Kingdom Hearts story is anything, like, it's not deep. It's not, like, super deep, and it's not that complicated. People say it's complicated, but if you just played the games, it's like
honestly, like from what I know about it, and I don't know a whole lot, but like from the gist I've gotten just like over the years, like from osmosis, like it doesn't, like people meme about it, but it doesn't seem like that much more like complicated than like your average like shonen like anime. Or am I using the right expression there? Like Hunter x Hunter, My Hero Academia, like that type of thing.
Yeah, well,
with like the rotating cast, like a large amount of characters to keep track of. Like I don't think it's like that much more complicated than that.
Yeah, my best comparison is Kingdom Hearts has done what the Marvel Cinematic Universe has done for movies.
Oh.
Like, well, it's one of the longest running series in a video game that's like one cohesive story. Like obviously Final Fantasy's been going on forever, but most of them are connected. Kingdom Hearts they're all connected. It's all one story. And like, you would maybe, like, if you were a diehard Marvel fan, you would probably watch all the movies and probably have all the way up to Endgame or whatever.
Yeah.
And you missed out on it. Like I know they're not too, like, remember when Thor like got corn stuck up his ass? Yeah, like wow.
Yeah.
I haven't watched a Marvel movie in years. And you'd be like, oh, I don't remember that or something like that.
Yeah.
But like you would want to watch all of them, right?
Yeah, no.
To get the emotional core of Endgame.
Yeah.
And Kingdom Hearts is the same way. Like, I feel like to get a lot of the emotional core, especially in Kingdom Hearts 3, like, I remember I was arguing with someone because they were like, Kingdom Hearts 3 is bad because I don't understand what's going on. And I'm like, well, there was 11 games before it, and there are moments set up specifically for KH fans to go nuts over, like, batshit ballistic. There was parts in the Kingdom Hearts 3 that if you were someone who was just like, I'm going to play Kingdom Hearts 3 and I've never played any of the game, you would just be like, why is this trying to sell me on hype when, like, for me, it was hype. It was like 7 years hype because there are some characters that I haven't seen canonically in 7 years, you know? And, you know, certain characters there's a lot of like loss in Kingdom Hearts. Like loss and reunion is a really big thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's like one of my biggest weaknesses, like the touching reunion of friends.
Characters get to reunite after like 5 games apart or something.
Yeah, and like a war. And tax evasion, like it's so, and like there's always like beautiful music in the background, and it's always just like a really huge swell of emotion, and it feels, if you've been in it for that long, or if you were just like cared about the characters even enough, like you will feel that emotional connection. You will feel like bitter. I find that like most of the time when I'm playing Kingdom Hearts, I feel really good, but I like there's always like an overtone of bittersweetness, like all the time. Especially KH2's ending. I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm not gonna tell you about these things.
Yeah.
It was very bittersweet, and that was probably the reason why I cried, because you see the last 2 games, friends were separated and a whole bunch of stuff happens, and you kind of get to see the organic, albeit really frustrating, come to events where they can finally be together again. And some characters don't get so lucky, and you feel really sad about it. Because there's like there's so many points in the game where like your humanity and whether you deserve to have the life that everyone else gets to have, like is that a privilege, or like do I really have a heart, or am I just like everybody else? And some characters are outright denied that. So
the sadness
when certain arcs happen, and you finally get to see the conclusion that you've been hoping for these characters.
Yeah, you finally get payoff.
Yeah. And I think about KH2, and KH2 is so bittersweet because like I remember reading an interview where I think Nomura said that KH2 was supposed to be the end at some point. This is at some point. And I can totally get it. And here's the thing, if KH2 was the last Kingdom Hearts game, I'd be fine. It leaves off on a note that I cannot explain, but I am like totally like, this is it. This is the end. And I'd be fine.
I obviously don't know the specifics, but I think I like get like the kind of tone you mean, where it's like they could continue it, but it's like it would also be a fitting like kind of open-ended ending type thing.
Yeah, well, and it's really weird because it is and it's not. It's pretty conclusive, but it's like... Okay. Yeah, it's so hard to explain.
Yeah, I figure.
Without giving away elements of the plot, and...
But that's actually really interesting, because I don't know if I've heard it like compared to like the MCU before, but I like totally get that, where it's like, yeah, like technically, like if you went into like Avengers Endgame or something, it's like, oh, you could probably like kind of get by and like at least kind of know what's going on if you'd only seen like like the main Avengers movies before or something. But if you'd been like actually keeping up with the movies, like over the years had just like become so invested in these characters that then by the time you do get to like something happens that's been like built up, or like that the fandom has like been wondering about for like literally years, like literally hours of your time have been spent like discussing like, can Captain America lift Thor's hammer? And then like they finally pay off like that emotional thread or whatever, and it's like, oh my god, that's the good shit. Yeah, like I'm fairly certain, because obviously like I come from a place where I have had that, and KH3, there was one moment where I got up and I screamed. I like cried. I was so happy. It was Roxas. I mean, like, Roxas is my favorite character. Hey there, if you enjoyed this video, why not hit the subscribe button and make sure that bell icon is turned on. Also, if you want to watch the show live, you can check us out over on Twitch, where we stream most nights. And if you want your name in the credits, why don't you check out my Patreon, where you can support the show directly. Thanks for watching.